Power Ranger seasons are currently broken into 3 sections. The Saban era, which is Mighty Morphin through Wild Force, the Disney era that holds Ninja Storm through RPM, finally the Neo Saban era, which is Samurai through Super Ninja Steel. Wild Force is an outlier. Some people consider it a Disney season, others don't. My stance is, it's a Saban season. It was filmed in the US, the original production company produced it, and half of the season aired on Fox. Each era has had episodes that I really enjoyed, even in bad seasons. I can still find good episodes. Missing. Bridge doesn't get a lot of focus. He's great at exposition and a comedic character, but when he gets to be in his element, this is why Bridge is a part of the team. It's a really simple episode. Bridge is taken captive, his morpher was broken, stuck inside a garbage compactor. Jack has to rescue him. He uses all of his techniques, remembers locations, hears sounds, stands on his head. The best moment is Bridge still being funny while he was that close and getting crushed, driving Jack insane as he starts rambling on about some nonsense. This is a comedy episode mixed in with some serious stuff, and it works great. I don't even have a problem when Cat magically builds a whole new morpher in a few hours. This is an example on how Power Ranger works right in its element. The newer seasons should use episodes like this one as an example in order to get comedy and serious sides of PR balanced. Shane's Karma. I always gave this two-parter high regard. This is how you win me over in buying a battleizer. It also helped that they came up with an original design instead of doing, this is the solar cell morpher painted red with a dragon head stuck on it. For the most part, when PR does a battleizer, they're fine, but I usually don't go out of my way in getting the morpher or the ranger figure because it's just a part of the gear and not really special to me. But the battleizer was a dying gift from Skyla. Shane had to deal with some bad dreams and other stuff, so we got to know him more. Then we meet this alien. Dying on PR and staying dead is very rare, so the emotional connection and impact pretty much boils down to which is what I hate the most about Kendrick's story. All you have to do for me to love an episode: involve a ranger, make guest characters matter to the ranger's character's growth, don't pander to kids, and have good action that utilizes the story of the episode, not action for action's sake. Plus, when the battleizer was destroyed in the finale, it hurts even more. Home and Away. Another episode just like Shane's Karma, this time screwing with Taizan's connection with his fiancée. The Fear Cats wanted him out of the way just to get that chalice, on top of getting back at him after he killed one of their friends. So they pretended he was whisked away back to his home planet, finding out Vela was alive. The story is kind of similar to The Matrix, a fake environment keeping Taizan busy, while the other Rangers aren't able to deal with the Fear Cats. Then for Taizan to finally snap out of it, finding out it was all fake. Taizan must have felt horrible, thinking she's dead, finding her alive, then it all being a lie. Some people go after the Fear Cats with a vendetta, but he kept his cool and stopped them from getting the artifact. I wish Taizan got more episodes like this, but at least he got a few good ones to make up for it, and he got his justice at the end of the season. Ghost of a Chance. We always gotta have that point in the season where the Rangers get cocky, the villains goof up once, so they let their guard down. Jungle Fury handled this much better than S.P.D. No one felt schizophrenic when it came to teamwork. The moment they relaxed, boom, RJ was captured. The team relies heavily on RJ from deciding on what to do and how to do it. They needed to figure out a new direction, so the past masters kicked their butts back in the right direction. This was a good episode in unlocking the new Jungle Master power-ups. PR sometimes cannot do power-up episodes right. It happens more often than not. Overall, Jungle Fury pulled the story trope off well. The Master Mode suits are unique to Jungle Fury. Casey and the others stop being cocky, and the villains get put down a notch. Leader of the Whack. I love weird episodes when characters break out of their normal role, either because they got stronger, like Justin, or when Billy and Kim turned into punks. It shows us something different, but not just because of this. The episode was crazy. It affected everyone, Trent, the monster, and the main Rangers. Seeing Kira in that outfit, I was like, did I turn on the Brady Bunch? Ethan trying to be the jock was really dumb funny, and it didn't fit him at all. Then we had Connor. Oh, him being that stereotype nerd, I was like, thank you. Maybe you'll understand not to be a jerk. It wakes you up in the morning, had a good wrap up to the story. It was a meteor, so you don't really ask the question, why does this happen again? It also contributes to Trent's overall story. It showed him being good as the White Ranger. That's what you need. Make all the filler episodes in the world. Just make them matter to the season's arc, not create character X, then never see them again. Dark Wish. It's not surprising I picked this three-parter. The episodes use the elements of magic to form a what-if story. What would happen if Gingy was stolen and a wish was granted? Although it makes us question, why the Rangers don't just do the same thing in Imperius? But anyway, this is where we see the Rangers lose. It didn't feel wrong either. The whole taking magic for granted was done throughout the season. Them cleaning up the store, goofing off with some powers. They did a really good job in showing the world in shambles. They redressed an entire block of the Rockaporium. The black and white look added to the misery. They even accounted for Daggeron vanishing because the Rangers weren't just found like back in the pilot, so it gave a small explanation to why they still existed. Some parts in the three-part were rushed, but the fight and want to prove that they deserved the wish reverse was the best bits. Them getting the legend mode was the cherry on top. This was one of the best power-up moments I enjoyed in a long time. After Ninja Storm, I really didn't care when someone got a battleizer, swap mode, all those things. Here they got the tension and payoff perfect. I am the Storm. Power Rangers has dabbed in fear episodes in all kinds of ways. The monster is made from whatever the Ranger hates. The monster creates the fear on purpose. This Ninja Storm episode used the psychological direction. It had the creepy fears with Dustin and Tori, but Shane's was a personal fear of not living up to his brother. It was a really good Red Ranger focus episode. Not just supernatural, more practical. It really helped that they casted Pua's real brother to play Shane's brother. It adds to their scenes. Shane's torn and keeping the Ranger side of him a secret, but his brother is belittling Shane with what he was doing with his life, not living up to his example. That screws with your mind. So what do you do as Shane? It's a big question. Ranger Red. This episode is my favorite Red Ranger focus. Unlike MMPR with the families all loving everything, Scott and his father have issues with each other. It stems from the death of Marcus, Scott's disregard of listening to orders, and Scott joining Dr. K's Ranger program. The world is in shambles, and Colonel Truman doesn't even care that Scott is protecting one of the last hopes on the planet. Some blame has to be placed on Scott and his father. It's a great tug of feelings. Who's blaming who for the death of Marcus? So Scott throws everything at the wall, helps out Dr. K, gets Marcus's recommendation and photo. It cleans up the issues between themselves, but it doesn't wrap up the story completely, which is one of the things I liked about RPM. Things continue through the season. Insomnia. When is a clip show not a clip show? When the S.P.D. Rangers complain in the middle of the night. Clip shows are the bane of television. They have to be done just to save money, either because a huge episode is being made or they had to do some budget cuts. What makes a good one versus a bad one? It's how the characters are used and what purpose does the clip show give to the season. There's many examples of horrible clip shows on Power Rangers. I will always lambast Don't Blow That Dough for the rest of my life. I despise that episode. So why is this one so high on my list? Well, for one thing, the B Squad isn't complaining about each other. They finally learned how to work together. It just took 8 million tries. They just can't sleep because they don't know what Grum is up to. Right from the beginning, Grum was attacking random buildings, stealing jewelry, getting certain chemicals, diverting A Squad off Earth, and distracting B Squad from various heists. How does this all fit together? The characters and us just don't know anything. So we get a refresher course on various episodes. It's kind of like S.P.D. doing a clue game. Who did what and why? At the end, to be revealed as the ship being alive and Grum is just some dumb lackey taking orders. It was a crazy twist. Drawn into danger. This number one pick, I don't think anyone is going to agree with me, but I love this episode. One of Trent's side talents is him being a really great artist, and Trent wanted to do this as a career, which caused problems with his father. But to use this character trait to create an episode around, it was so perfect. They used a lot of leftover Abba Ranger footage that wouldn't really fit into episodes of Dinothunder. So they came up with this bizarre comic book universe that the Rangers were put into. The last time something like this happened was the Christmas two-parter at MMPR and the Time Force movie episodes. The comic book filter was cool. It was hard to see what was happening, but that was the point. It lagged and did all this weird stencil stuff. It's a filler episode that isn't a filler episode for me. And it was a great way to deal with Abba Ranger. Dinothunder and Abba Ranger are very different between what type of stories they tell. This gives a lot of constraints to the writers. But episodes like this one really shows how good ways to use footage. People can come up with something great with the most bizarre Sentai episodes. It doesn't have to be a clip show or some weird episode that featured one Ranger but then all of a sudden switches to another. Work with the weirdness for the episode. You may benefit off it. The Disney era does have some really good seasons. Even bits of the bad seasons come up with good stuff. This era has its own flavor, very different from the original era, and the Neo-Saban era has changed the direction in how the series is structured. I'm always going to complain that this era overused the explosions and the wirework, but I still come back to it. What are your favorite episodes from these 7 seasons? For me, it was really hard to pick 10. Next week, I'm going to be doing something different, rating all the Power Ranger Christmas episodes from worst to best.